Hey friends! Today we're going to be looking at a product that I haven't seen a lot. It's the Holbein Acrylic cattail. The Holbein Acrylic Chromoshine. I'm going to show you the Chromoshine and the Chromo Pearl. She's rubbing her face all over. For metallic, if you're looking for a good metallic acrylic, I've had these for a while, and I won't lie to you, I have only just now brought them out, and I thought, what better time than to do it together? So I'm going to show you what it looks like on white paper, on black paper, and also unconventional items. There's two ways that you can use these. You can twist them. They have this little twist cap, and then it allows you to squeeze it out like a squeeze tube. You can also just take the cap off and use a paintbrush. That's what I prefer to do. I like to have more control, but I'm going to show you both ways, both on white and black paper. So the first one we're going to look at is red. I don't have the best success with using a squeeze tube. I guess if you're going chunky, it could dry that way, but it is pretty chunky, so I'm not great at it. What I like to do is just use that for, if I'm not going to take the cap off and I just want a little bit of paint, then I can just go in and grab it that way. But otherwise, I just like to dip in because I feel like it's less paint wasted that way. But as you can see, it is very opaque on the first coat. This is what that sheen looks like. It's nice and smooth. And when that dries, it has a little bit of a color shift to it. So I'll show you what that looks like when it dries. But this is the red when it's wet. The Chromoshine red. Okay, looking at orange, same thing. I'll show you my really bad techniques at squeezing it out. I should note I don't have any water on my brush when I'm doing this. So this is just paint on paper. So that has a nice shift as well. This is the orange. It does have a lot of that gold hue to it. So if you're going for like a warm gold, that's a great option versus having like a yellow gold. There's the yellow. Let's look at that next to it. I'll do my impressive tube squeeze. I don't know if anyone uses that way. And if you do, let me know because I'm so curious. Okay, again, just paint directly onto paper. This like iridescent two-color green gold, even though it is yellow. So don't get that confused because the next color we're gonna do is green. And it is quite different because you have like a blue undertone with the green now. It's really a pretty color. The next one we'll look at is blue. I do have a little water on my brush. You can see it doesn't make a huge difference, but it did dilute it at the top there, so I just pulled some of the paint back up there. But overall, we're still nice and opaque. We'll go into violet. Okay, so that one is pretty deep. We'll see if the sheen carries over when that is dry as well. Now let's look at these on black paper. So as you can see, these show up really well. They are fully opaque. There's no light transfer to the paper. So this is gonna work really well on covering any sort of darker surface. This is the orange, which I feel like is just like a true gold, because the yellow gold I feel like is still, it's got that green undertone. It's more of a green gold. For me, this is just more green. On camera, I feel like it's showing up definitely more yellow gold. The camera is pretty true to color, but either way, to the naked eye, I do see some green undertone. When it dries, I'll see if that shows up even more. And this is the green, which I feel really leans a bluish undertone to it. Almost like a seafoam kind of. Here's the blue. Okay, we'll look at the violet. So that one is pretty deep. But it is still opaque, even though it might not look like it, it's just darker. While these are drying, I also want to pull in these Chromo Pearl. So these are all the Chromoshine, and it is a little bit different. I feel like the Chromo Pearl is even more metallic, and maybe that's just me. We'll see what you think. This is the Chromo Pearl Red. Because it has that pearlescent effect, that's what for me makes it look more, it's like almost like a glow. While it doesn't have that super hard hue, you're gonna see this a lot more when it dries, but there is this almost like a coating. But see, on black, you can see that shimmer come through a lot more. So the white, it kind of disappears. So you still, this is what I mean by I feel like it's more metallic. You still have that opaque quality to it. Instead of just being pure metallic, the shimmer comes out. We'll see what it looks like again when it dries. I have two other colors I want to show you. So we have blue, Chromo Pearl blue. Okay, so color shift, look at this. That shimmer, oh, it's so good. Okay, so we'll look at that here. So you can see that blue come through on the dark paper. It's kind of like magic. Just a little bit of magic, no problem. So this one does have a little more translucency, but you can see how quickly the buildup is. Like it happens pretty fast. And then we'll look at the last one, which is green. So you can see same thing, it's going on pretty clear. It does have that shift. You can see it's coming through more as it dries. We'll go on black paper, see what this looks like here. So this one, so it is green, but for me, it's still pretty blue. Like it's almost like a teal aqua color, whereas this is a little more true blue. So that's how that translates here. But on the white paper, I think that the green versus the blue is more prominent. It's like the difference shows up more. So I'll show you what they look like when they are all the way dry. All right, dry swatches here. So the metallics on black, they show up really, really well. If I tilt this, you'll see that gold shimmer. This one is not as obvious. It has a more like a violet undertone. This one is clearly more of that aqua tone. These ones are pretty solid. There's a color shift in here too. You can see a little bit of gold. This one is more green but has that gold undertone. These are kind of interchangeable, but depending on which like primary solid color you're gonna want. This one here has an aqua undertone. This one is pretty flat, like as far as undertone goes. It doesn't have a huge, it's pretty just like solid metallic blue, and this one's pretty solid metallic purple. And then here it is in white. And then something I did while these, right before they dried, I took some of the Chromo Pearl and overlaid just the right side of these so that you could see what it looks like layered. So, whoops, I just put my finger in there. The metallic, and then the metallic with the pearl on top. So it's real subtle, but you can see, like, if you wanted to overlap them, you could, which is really pretty. Like, obviously the color of the pearl is going to show through. So these three are the red that I overlaid, and then these three are blue that I overlaid. You can definitely see the blue coming through. On darker surfaces, the pearl comes out a lot more, so it's going to kind of take away from darker colors, but overall you can see how that would bring it to life. Like the red on red is really nice. So if you want more of that lighter shimmery metallic, that might be an option. But overall, your dry colors look amazing on both the light and the dark surfaces. I also wanted to put this to the test with an unconventional surface. So in this case, I had a clear glaze that was already on this little paint tube, and I wanted to see how it would show up, and it looks like it grabbed it really well. It's nice and opaque on here. I added some little details here, and I also did an overlap. So I started off with just wanting to put the metallic Chromoshine on in the blue, and then I let that dry, and then I overlaid the Chromo Pearl blue over top, and that brought that shimmer a little bit. I don't feel like it was a huge difference. I think more so it just kind of brought light in, so it felt more like the light was reflecting off of it. But overall, it's a fun effect on other types of surfaces. All in all, really solid paint. Do I think it's worth the price of admission? I think it's really up to what you need it for, what your preference is. If it's something that like that's an effect that you're really, really going for, it's a solid choice. It is a little bit of a steep price tag, so that's something to consider, but overall, get the idea. You know what's available to you if it's something that you are seeking. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon.